Assalamu alaikum students. I hope you and your parents are in the best of their health. Today, the topic that we're going to study is midbrain and hindbrain. This is continuation of the lecture that we did last week. Last week, we studied that the brain has three main divisions. That is, the forebrain, midbrain, and the hindbrain. We have also learned that forebrain is the largest part of the brain and consists of three parts, which we have already studied in the previous lecture. The three parts of the forebrain include cerebrum, thalamus, and the hypothalamus. Now the question that arises is that where the midbrain is actually located inside the brain. Midbrain is a small part of the brain which is present below the cerebrum. It acts as master coordinator of all the messages going in and coming out of the brain to the spinal cord. The midbrain also receives the information from the sense organs, which is then passed on appropriate part of the forebrain. It also controls some of the auditory reflexes and posture. After the midbrain, we'll start off with the third division of the brain, that is the hindbrain. The hindbrain consists of three parts. Number one, cerebellum, then pons, and then medulla oblongata, as seen in the figure as well. The cerebellum is located under the back part of the cerebrum. It plays a key role in motor control, in coordination and spatial navigation, so that we can find our way out of a maze. In simple words, we can say that the cerebellum acts as a controller for maintaining the body balance and for making precise and accurate muscle movements. Pons, in turn, is an oval structure which is present beneath the midbrain. It is involved in performing various functions. It controls many functions like sleep, swallowing, equilibrium, and taste. Pons also help medulla in controlling breathing. In addition, pons also serve as a connection between the cerebellum and the spinal cord. The medulla oblongata forms the posterior part of the brain where it is connected with the spinal cord. The information that passes between the spinal cord and the rest of the brain passes through the medulla oblongata. Now the question arises, what kind of functions are being performed by the medulla? Let's take a look. The medulla oblongata controls heartbeat, breathing, and digestion. The medulla oblongata also keeps on working when rest of the brain goes to sleep. Now, after going through all the parts of the brain in detail, there is another term that we have to look upon, the brain stem. What is brain stem? The brain stem is the posterior part of the brain and it includes the midbrain, pons, and the medulla oblongata. The brain stem is connected to the spinal cord and it controls those areas of your body that you don't need to work upon. That is, they are involuntary, like breathing, maintaining your heart rate, and digesting food. Now that we have learned about all the detailed structures of the brain and their functions, we will now learn how to make a detailed diagram of the structure of brain. Let's start. First of all, we're going to draw a rough outline of the brain as being shown in the figure. We are roughly drawing the parts of the brain. Now we will be drawing the cerebrum, the part of the forebrain, and we will be drawing its convolutions or the folds which are present within the cerebrum. First, we will be making the outer folds, and later we will proceed towards the inner side. Now, as said earlier, we will be making the inner folds of the cerebrum. Now that we've drawn the cerebrum, we will be drawing the parts of the midbrain and the hindbrain in detail. Now we will move on to the part of the hindbrain, that is the cerebellum, and we will first make its outline, then we will proceed towards its internal structure. Now we will draw the outer and the inner membranes of the brain. We will be drawing the three meninges first. The first meninge, the second meninx, and then the third meninx. We'll finish it off by drawing the skull, or the part of the skull which encloses the brain, the cranium. Now we will label the entire human brain for your convenience. I hope you have learned all the steps to make the proper figure of human brain, and you have gathered all the concepts regarding the structure and functions of human brain. Now go through this video and the previous lecture again and answer the following questions. How is brain protected? Which is the largest part of brain? What constitutes the peripheral nervous system? How many pairs of cranial nerves are there? What is the function of midbrain? Which part of the forebrain controls body temperature? Which structure is present beneath the midbrain? What constitutes the brain stem? Which structure within the brain is responsible for motor control? I hope after listening to the lecture again, you will be able to answer all the questions very well. Take care of yourself and we'll meet soon. Allah Hafiz.